Hey guys, Jax Voss here. Welcome back to EU Fan Theories. So today we're going to start talking about Triclops, the three-eyed mutant son of Emperor Palpatine. So, we are going to be talking about three distinct fan theories about his origins. Some of them can all kind of intertwine in one way or another. Well, two of them can't, but first we're going to talk about the primary theory, which is in fact referenced on Wikipedia, and the next theory also is referenced on Wikipedia. The third one is actually something that someone else mentioned. I'm not going to say who. If he wants to tell everyone who he is more than welcome to do so. I will make sure he's aware of this video when I put it out. So, the first theory, and it's the most prominent theory, the most commonly believed, is that Slymore is his mother. As you can see, Slymore is the bald-headed girl in the prequels that is oftentimes around Palpatine. She is an Umbaran, and Umbarans are, well, they're a little different. And that allows for the alien element to work in, and it's very, from what I understand, it's actually very well indicated in, even inside the EU, that Slymore kind of disappeared sometime after 18 BBY, which is a year after the establishment of the Empire. She was also for a time called the Queen of the Empire, as she was kind of, but not really, Palpatine's, she was Palpatine's senior female advisor, and she seemed to have a lot of power, which is, I guess, why they called her Queen of the Empire for a little bit. Anyway, so that's the Slymore theory. There isn't much to it. There's a little bit more to it, but it kind of overlaps with the next one. So the second theory is that that Palpatine is not actually biologically his father, but Palpatine claimed him when he was born, and he's actually the result of an experiment of Darth Plagueis's, and that Slymore, being a dark side adept herself, but not powerful enough to be considered a proper Sith apprentice, was actually taking a great interest in Plagueis's leftover experiments, and acquired some Force-sensitive DNA, and she herself being Force-sensitive, and used that to kind of impregnate herself. And that resulted in Triclops. Of course, that is one branch of that theory. The other branch is that Palpatine kind of took Triclops's their DNA that ended up being Triclops, or well, the experiment that ended up resulting in Triclops, and somehow delayed the process, resulting in Triclops' birth sometime in 17 BBY. That's the most common belief, or late 18 BBY, because well, that would get us back to Ken, who was our previous EU fan theory. Again, Ken is Triclops' son. But we don't know quite how all this happened and came about. But anyway, going forward from that, either one of these theories is very prominent and entirely possible. And quite likely, actually, it's very possible either one could entirely be possible. Personally, I prefer the belief that he is Palpatine's actual biological son, though it is strange that his birth resulted in white hair and a third eye. But we are talking about a mixing of human and Umbaran DNA. So, and we do know 100% that Triclops was at least half human, and Umbarans are an offshoot of human. They're the result of, their planet. So they're near humans. And as far as we know, this would be the only known mixing of human and Umbaran DNA, so that very well could result in a three-eyed mutant humanoid. So, and if you're looking at, and if you look at these pictures of Triclops, you don't see a third eye, do you? That's because his third eye is on the back of his head, covered by hair. And, he was originally trained by the prophets of the dark side, and became, but he failed. I don't really fully understand how. I'd have to actually... I've only read part of the Jedi Prince. I only got a couple of books when I was younger, and trying to acquire the Jedi Prince books is kind of a pain, and also they're not the best stories. So now we've gone into that, and now let's get into the third theory. I am not going to, again, I'm not going to acknowledge who came up with this theory. If he wants to make himself known, he is more than welcome to do so. So now we come to the third theory, that Isan Izard was in love with Palpatine, and that she was Triclops' mother. Well, there's a few problems with that. One, it requires a standard gestation period. Two, she had to be somewhere between 14 and 19 years old when she had Triclops, which makes all kinds of things wrong. It doesn't really allow for his accelerated growth system, and because again, like, if you look at Triclops, just look at him. He clearly looks like a guy in his late 30s, because he, part of that is due to some of the torture he experienced, but also, not just that, but also, he had to have had growth accelerant, because he would have been, at best, and we're talking at best, 12 when he had his son. So he had to have accelerated growth, just to be able to conceive a child with a woman who was, well, a woman, or at least she would have been... Actually, we don't really know much about Ken's mother. We know her name was Kendalina, which is weird, and we know that she was gray-eyed and brown-haired. Or at least, I think she was brown-haired. I don't know for sure about that one. But anyway, back to the theory. So it requires, this theory comes from the idea that Izard was in love with Palpatine, and she slept with Tarkin for promotion, which is weird, but it's part of that whole thing. And I don't know. To me, it doesn't make sense, and it feels kind of out there. When you compare it with the other two, it's not well fleshed out, but it does have some concept of merit, because we do know Palpatine was kind of weird when it came to sex, and you know, I don't 100% reject it, but I definitely don't ascribe to it. I think that the best of these theories goes with Sly Moore, and I personally believe that Palpatine is his biological father, though I don't reject the idea that she may have used one of Plagueis's experiments as a... Like, she might have impregnated herself using one of Plagueis's experiments, or may have used one of Plagueis's experiments as a template for her for the result of Triclops. However it happened, we do know that Triclops was officially recognized as Palpatine's son. So yeah, let me know what you think of these theories, if you think that I'm totally crazy, but bear in mind, 2 of these theories are even acknowledged on Wikipedia, and were, well, stated by official Lucasfilm representatives. So just bear that in mind. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and also, if he does not make a claim, if you can guess who... Yes, this is somebody you know, and well, likely know anyway. This is somebody pretty decently known in the EU fandom, in the EU community. And I will give you one hint: he is on YouTube. If you can guess who it is, I don't know. I'll give you a shout out, maybe. Well, yeah, depends. Yeah, I think I'll just tell him not to say that he's him, and I'll just let people guess. But yeah, yeah. So let me know what you think of these. All right, guys. May the Force be with you, and we'll see you next time.